Hi everybody, we're back again live here doing a DIY. I'm Sharon from I Restore Stuff, and sorry if we jumped off, but you should be jumped right back on again now. We are painting window sills and wood trims. So if you saw the last bit of the live, we were doing this trim down the bottom here, and I showed you how to tape up your carpet so that doesn't get paint on it. We've done our first coat along here, pointing with my stripy socks, and now we're working on the wood trim. You don't have to do a close-up of my stripy socks. Now we're doing the wood trim along the windowsill, and I was talking about the fact that when you're doing something that's we've got a big surface here and we've got a smaller surface here. So I'm just doing these little fiddly bits first, because as you can see, the brush gets on the big bit, and it's just a bit better than messing up if you've already done this, for example, and you start to paint along here, you're messing up that edge. So I do these bits first, I call them the fiddly bits, and we'll just do that along the side. So all of that's done, and then we start working. I'm just about to step on a paintbrush here. I think I'll just move that out of the way. And if you've just joined us, let us know where you're tuning in from. I've got Julie here from Chalk and Trees. And
hi everyone.
She's going to try and grab your comments. So
we've got somebody tuning in from Owensboro, Odette.
Where's Owensboro, I wonder?
Don't know. Lily from Texas.
Hey Lily from Texas, how are you today?
Oh, a few people need to do their kitchen.
Oh, we've got because they're answering our giveaway question today, which if you've just joined us, our giveaway question is, what would you update in your home? It doesn't have to be with paint, but you could be updating your kitchen, bathroom, whatever. So, thanks for joining us. You can win a Hometalk tote bag. Hang on a second, I've got my back probably to the camera. Just tell me where I need to go.
Vicky from Ayrshire.
Hi.
I wonder where that is.
Vicky, that sounds interesting place. What's the weather like there? It's winter here. I'm in Australia, if you couldn't tell by my accent. So I'm in Australia and it's winter, but it's not too bad today. I mean, we don't have central heating in our home, and I've still got my long sleeve shirt on and I'm all good. And my Hometalk shirt. Woo! So what's the weather like where you are? Are you in the northern hemisphere and you're getting the nice warm treatment, or are you in the southern hemisphere and getting cold? Let us know in the comments. All right, now we're working on the big part of the windowsill, and as you can see, it's got a little bit of a groove here too. So once again, I'm just going to work on that little bit first. Remember, we're just doing the undercoat here, so it's going to look a bit ugly to start with. Just doing the undercoat, and I've done the undercoat on the other part of the windowsill, just giving you this example. So we're going from wood to white. Who else wants to do from wood to white in their home? I sometimes wonder. See, our house is about 20 years old, so I'm wondering, and it was at the time a lovely thing. And we have so many wood trims in our house. So this is, I don't know if it's going to take me all year to do this. We've got 5 bedrooms plus, bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. What do you reckon, Julie?
It looks so good though. It
does.
It makes it look so fresh.
It's going to really brighten it up, isn't it? So I'm going to go back to my paintbrush that I was using before, which is a little bit wider because we've got a wide part of this windowsill we're going for here right now. So notice that I've taped up everywhere on the outside, but also on the inside where the trim meets the, what do you call that, aluminium frame. See, we say aluminium in Australia. In America, I know they say aluminum. So don't laugh at me because I talk different than you. We say tomato, they say tomato. Is that how the song goes? I think there's a song about it.
Ayrshire's in Scotland, Nanette says.
Oh, wow. Scotland people. So what time of the day would it be there? I would have thought they'd be asleep or something.
It's pouring rain in Canada.
Oh, really? Canadians are having wet weather.
Yep, but hot
Summer
in
rains.
Texas.
Wow. Of course, it's going to be hot in Texas. That just sounds like a hot place. It's probably a bit like here in Queensland. I'm in Queensland, Australia, where it gets quite warm. Okay, so you can see we've got our first coat going down there.
Wonder if we've got any Aussies online. So
I know.
I've got people from Georgia, Wisconsin,
Yep.
lots from Texas, few from Scotland.
Now let me just mention our little wire thing here sticking out of the window. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry about my back to you there, but I'm doing a windowsill right here and painting the trim. So we've got this little wire thing coming out here, and I have this house full of techno gurus who like to do these fun things. And it's a, what do you call it, Marty? My camera guy. It's a Wemo or something.
Wemo.
And it's a motion control, so that it's sensor to our front door out there, and so it sees if anyone's coming to the front door. It turns the front door light on. So my son and my husband are into these techno things. We've got something that you can turn it on with an app too. You know, like I think we're done with the first coat. Yeah, you can turn it on with an app on your phone, and you've got it set it. You're going to do it, are you? You got it set it up so that we can turn on the coffee machine. Believe it or not, we can turn on the coffee machine from his bed. Oh my goodness. All right, so here's another handy tip. Where's my plastic bag gone? Here it is. If you're not going to use your brush, because I'm going to be doing some more trims in a little while after our Hometalk Live, I'm going to put my brushes in a good old grocery plastic bag, and they will not dry out and get all gunky between now and when I use them next. So there's your top tip if you didn't know that one, or you can wrap them in cling film, Glad wrap, whatever you like to call it. But I like to recycle, so we're just using plastic bags to do that today. And if you noticed, I have poured, because the primer came out of this massive tin here, I've just poured a little bit so that it's really handy to use when you're doing your trims, okay? So, next thing we're going to do is our second coat, which is our top coat. And I'm going to show you where I've already done. Don't forget our giveaway question is, what would you update in your home? I'm updating my wood trims, making them white again, giving a lovely, it's brightening up this room. If you follow my blog, you will have seen that this wall behind Julie was a dark red colour. And sorry to put you on the camera again there, Julie, showcasing my now. Cream walls, well, it's kind of a taupe, I don't know, taupe colour, whatever you call that colour. All right, so now we're going on to our second coat here, and I've actually done one second coat on this section here of the floor trim, so I wanted to show you that. You can see that the paint will stick slightly to that tape that you've taped off here near the carpet, but it won't be so bad once we lift it up and you fluff the carpet back. We'll get to show you that in a minute. So I've got a choice of two different brushes. One, this one's just a really fine one to get those fiddly bits on the top, and this one a little bit flatter to get the other bits. So what are other people commenting about what they would update in their home?
Lots of people need to update in their kitchens.
Okay.
Yeah, updating their kitchen cabinets.
Yes, me
I've
too.
seen a lot of that. That looks great.
Yes, a lot of people are going from wood, say oak cabinets,
Yes.
to painting them white or bright colours, and that's beautiful. So I'm just using this lovely, and you know what, this is just an artist brush that my friend Libby gave me at our painting party the other week.
Libby.
Good old Libby. Big shout out to Libby. She's just going, I just use these, and they're so soft at the end. It's like this little artist brush. She's quite the artist, our friend Libby. And so I'm just using this one to go across the top of the trim very easily.
Christina needs to update her fireplace.
Oh, yeah.
And Rhonda, her bathroom. Yeah,
I'd love to know
bathrooms.
how you're going to do those things, how you update your fireplace. That could be an easy task, or it could be a tricky one, depending on what you want to do. You're going to paint brick, or are we just rearranging the mantle? Could do a whole bunch of things, couldn't we?
Amy's joining us from Brisbane as well.
Yay,
And
Amy
she's
from
gonna
Brisbane,
be-
woo!
She's going to paint today too.
Oh, is she? What
Great
are you
day.
painting, Amy? Let us know. Big shout out to you. It's a lovely day in Brisbane today because we've got no rain. We've had rain all week, so it's been quite wet. And I was a bit worried about the rain today, whether it was going to let my paint dry. So just changing to my little bit thicker brush here at the moment to get down on these trims down the bottom.
I'm not sure.
The colour that we're doing for this trim is Antique White USA. It's a good old favourite colour for a lot of people, here in Australia anyway. I don't know about your part of the world. But it's just a slightly off-white colour. But as you can see, it's a little bit different to the white that I've got on the walls, which isn't really white at all. It's a creamy taupe colour. All right, getting right down in the bottom where that trim is.
Carol wants to know,
yeah.
are you just painting them or is it a special finish that you're doing today?
I am painting them, and we're just going through the DIY tips of how to best paint them. Is that Carol?
Yes, Carol.
Thanks for your question, Carol. So I'm not going to be doing some fancy finish on them, but if you were to do a fancy finish, I'd love to know what that would be. That sounds interesting. If you were to finish your trims in a fancy way, has anyone ever distressed their trims, you know? So we've done a second coat on that part there, and now I'm going to go a little bit further down here to catch the second part, and I want to show you another important factor when we've done these trims is taking the tape off. And you want to take it off, the paint kind of needs to be set mostly for your taking off bit.
Dawn wants to know, what did you prime with?
I primed with, it's called Dulux Precision Surface Preparation Stain and Mould Blocker, to be exact. It's from Australia, so I don't know what you've got in your part of the world, but I just asked my hardware, and lots of times they're really helpful in being able to tell you what's the best for using on windowsills and trims. So that's what I did today.
Cindy wanted to know, how do you hide chips?
As in like your little
Ding.
if dings and stuff. So I did that with the where I had it in our first live that was going on, is our wood filler. I mean, what do you call this? Wood putty. It is wood filler. Yeah, it's a putty. So okay, see this little wire here? That's annoying me, but Marty said, "Can you just work around it?" I'm like, yes, babe, we can just work around it, I'm sure. Because what happens is there's a little sensor that's out there and it goes through the fly screen, and it's just a big hassle to remove the fly screen and move it out of the way. So we have a little wire that we're working around, but we will do it. We can do it. I love my husband. He's awesome. He just took a trip to Sydney and got back, like, that's a long way away, people. How far is it? 12 hours or something? What was the drive, Marty?
About that.
Yeah.
But I said, are you sure you're going to be back for my Hometalk Live? Yes, honey, I'll be back for your Hometalk Live. He's hardly had any sleep. Can we just have lots of hearts for Marty, who's hardly had any sleep, driven all the way 12, what did you drive? More than 12 hours, like 24 hours or something, on very little sleep.
Goodness me.
Yes.
Sarah,
come on, give us some hearts for Marty.
Sarah
He
said
deserves a
that
few
they
hearts.
use Kills brand primer in the US.
Okay, so thanks. That's a great tip there if you're watching.
I think Marty's gone to sleep.
Marty's going to... Oh, my goodness.
lots
Don't
of
go to
hearts.
sleep now. Thanks. He's getting lots of hearts, babe. All right, so, yes, let's just be thankful right now.
Patricia suggested, would sawdust help to cover the chips?
Oh, sorry, yes, we were talking about covering the chips. I just used wood filler. Sawdust. I don't know how you would use the sawdust, but I have heard of people using that. Ground up sawdust, but they've mixed it with something, and I don't know exactly what that is to get that happening. So we've just about finished up to the end of here, and then we'll show you a little bit of painting if you have just joined us, we are painting wood trims right next to the carpet, and we've shown you a tricky way. Here I'm crawling along, trying to get my paint. I've put my paint into a salsa jar to just make it a little bit easier than carrying a massive can, or even, you know, like a tray or something like that you could use. But I like the fact that the jar, you can put the lid on it and go away and come back again, and it's not going to be all dried out.
Carol
Yes.
said that she missed the start.
Yep.
And what did you do at the very start? Did you sand?
So we had already prepped and I had sanded. So our prep would be fill up any little holes with your wood filler, sand your surface to give it a little bit of grit. So this was varnished beforehand. We'll go up here with my little painty brush. varnished beforehand. So you want to rough up the surface to give it some grip for the paint to grip onto. So just going over here with my smaller paintbrush to get the fiddly bits first, and then we'll do the trim. So you can see I've got the second coat on there. We just want to go over it again with another coat.
People have mentioned that they mix the sawdust with wood glue.
Yes, that's it. That's the way. Thank you, people. I knew I could count on you for the handy tips. It's so good. I love Hometalk because we can all just get together and share our wonderful ideas. You're all awesome, and you're from all over the world joining in today, which is so good. Don't forget to answer the giveaway question for your chance to get a Hometalk tote bag sent to you. So as I mentioned before, we do the small little fiddly bits on the side first, and then we do this part in the middle, which I'll do with a thicker brush. So have we got some more ideas? What would you update in your home, everybody?
Oh, lots of people want to update their bathrooms, and Kyrell has a question.
Yes.
They would like to know what they can do about the trims in their bathroom, because when the water hits the trim, it's peeling.
Oh dear.
So I guess maybe some extra prep, Sharon?
Yeah, maybe some extra prep. I'm wondering how it was it original paint, or if they painted and now it's doing that? Because, yeah, I really emphasise prep is such an important thing, because if you have something on the surface that's making it peel up, also the type of paint they're using in a bathroom where there's lots of moisture and that kind of thing, I really do advise asking the paint people at your local hardware store what's the best paint to use in the bathroom. I know when we did our bathrooms, we got a paint that was mould resistant, which this primer is actually has that on its label, that it's mould resistant, especially for those damp areas like your bathroom and your laundry. So, yep, top idea.
Oh, Julie's given a tip.
Hey, Julie.
Wood glue and toothpicks are great to fill in holes.
There you go.
From removing your window treatment.
Okay, yes, so that's what we had done up the top. We had little holes in there from a previous curtain rod that was up there, curtain rails they were. What do you call them? Tracks. Curtain tracks that were up here. And so now you can't see those little holes because I've filled them up and painted over them. So just going over this. This is our second coat of our top coat on this little trim here. And I should have done these little bits first. But I'm just using an artist brush just to get in those little fiddly bits, which is so much better than trying to do a big brush. Might take a little bit of extra time.
Somebody wanted to know how much you spent on tape.
Yeah, it is. It is a bit of a big job when you've got the tape going on. All right, now I'm going to move down to this part here where we've got our second coat going on. And I've got my bigger brush, just getting right up there into the top in the crevices. I guess you can kind of see by action how I'm laying the paint on. And this is an enamel paint, but it's a water-based paint. And as I mentioned earlier, I really don't like washing out brushes from oil-based paints with the terps and everything. But I think there are still advantages to using the oil-based ones. I'm not sure what they are. Someone can maybe help me with that. What's the difference between using the oil-based and the water-based enamel? Julie, do you know?
I think it's, well, in my experience of using the different types of enamel, the oil-based yellows when you're using a white.
Okay.
And I don't find it yellows as much.
With the water-based one?
With the water-based.
Well, that's
and plus it's easier with the clean-up and it's less chemicals.
Yeah, I think it's less chemicals. I like that idea. But also I think what some people find is that the oil-based ones may give a little bit more open time or something like that, you know, which means it takes a little bit longer to dry, so therefore you get less brush strokes because they kind of self-levelling, the paint kind of levels itself out. So I had a feeling it might have been something like that. So there we go. We've just done all of that. That's all completely finished and ready to go. This has still got its first coat on, so we'll just do a little quick demo of this down here, how we're getting into those corners. Find a brush that's going to get into those edges there. See how I'm angling the brush at, you know, like a 90-degree type of angle. No, not 90, 45, sorry. That kind of an angle. And this is only our first coat of the top coat. So as I did previously on these windows sills, I've done 2 coats. And you can see that even just with this one top coat, so we've got 1 undercoat and 2 top coats going down. This is only the first top coat. See how it's not covering properly? So I am going to have to go back and do that second top coat, which I've done on these walls, these windowsills here, so you can kind of see the difference there. How many other people have posted a comment on what they would like to update in their home?
Oh, but poor Barbara. Barbara wants to update her kitchen.
Yes.
She's got no cabinets and no dishwasher.
Barbara,
Barbara,
where are
you
you
need
living?
those things.
We actually don't have a dishwasher at the moment, and it's really painful.
That is painful.
But when I was a kid, let me just say, that was a part of our jobs, is wiping the dishes and washing the dishes. So we've gone a bit old school in our house, and we are washing up the dishes. But you know what? I've tried to just instill a little thing that if you cook it, if you make it, just wash it up really quickly, and it's done. But yeah, having no kitchen cabinets, Barbara, that's a little bit tricky. So where do you store your stuff? That would be hard.
Patricia wants to know, is this a glossy paint?
Yeah, good question. Trish, is it Trish?
Patricia.
Patricia. I am using a semi-gloss. So I didn't want it too glossy, like a high gloss kind of finish. But I used a semi-gloss because, one, I think it's much easier to wipe down. As one of my family members has already pointed out and said, was that you, Marty? Does that mean that it's going to get a bit dirtier than it did when we had wood trims? Yes. You're thinking about those things. I'm glad you're thinking about it, because like you ever cleaned the windowsill, right? Like you ever did that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I want to comment. Whose husbands clean their windowsills for them? That would be good.
Do you know, my husband yesterday, he opened the curtains and he went, oh, our windowsills are really dirty. And then he left it for me to clean.
Obviously.
We need to
he's
have
letting
a chat
you
about
know
that, honey.
I know. He's letting you know because why?
Because they need cleaning. That's obviously what I
And your point is? Okay, this is going really good, but you can see this is the first of the top coats, and we are going to need a second coat. So I've only just painted this first coat on here, so I'm not going to do that during the live. This little wire is getting in my way, just saying, if you've just joined us. My
just paint over it. Just paint over it.
I should
That's
just
fine.
paint over it. I've got this little tape to the wall, and I'm, being very strategic. Look, it's not even touching any paint. I did it. This is awesome, because the little monitor outside has to go through the fly screen and, yada, yada, yada. It's not going to be an easy task. It's much easier for me to work around it, right? All right, so we're just painting that top bit.
Some top tips.
Yes, love to know top tips.
Lily has suggested that she used a bar of soap to fill small holes in her walls.
Soap.
Yeah,
really?
Never heard of that.
I would be a bit concerned that would not stay there.
Yeah,
maybe if you
it
painted
smell
over
good.
it would smell good. There's that. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to leave that there, but I want to show you some important tips about removing your tape. So I know that our paint probably hasn't dried to the maximum that it's supposed to. Very important, put your lids on your things and put your paintbrush in your trusty plastic bag. I've got paint on the outside of it now. I'm just going to wrap them like this. Wrap your paintbrushes in plastic to stop them from drying out. I know. Don't forget, you're entering to win a Hometalk tote bag. And the giveaway question is, what would you update in your home? Now, the important part about removing tape once you've finished your job, and I'm a little bit scared to do this because I've only just finished painting it, but I'm going to use these couple of things as a bit of a helper, and you could probably use a knife. I'm just using a painter's scraper, paint scraper, and it's like an artist trowel, I guess you would call it. But they're kind of helpful in doing this. First part is, so I do think it even looks a little bit uneven there. I may need to do some more, but I'm just going to show you this on this little bit here. So to stop the paint from peeling back, because sometimes when you pull the paint tape off, the tape can rip your paint back off, and we don't want that to happen, because what's happened is, oh, there's a little hair there. What's happened is you've painted accidentally on the tape, which it's really hard not to. So when you're peeling off, you don't want to just tear it like that, because, and it's going great guns now, but you may get to a portion where the paint has stuck so well that it's actually going to peel off and you're going to reveal some of your wood there. And we don't want that, do we, people? So what I'm going to do is just put my little spatula here, and I just gently go like that. And it might take a little bit of extra time, but sometimes it's a little bit easier to do that than get your paintbrush out and paint back on that wood trim where you've just ripped the paint off. We are actually going really well here, so I don't see a problem at the moment. But I'm going to stop right there and stick this on the wall just to say where I'm up to. And I'll show you the carpet trim. So hopefully, I think we've got, it's still very sticky because it's a, what do you call it? Not humid, but there's moisture in the air today. And also this is, because it's enamel paint, it's going to take a bit longer to dry. But I just wanted to show you this trick. So when the paint is actually dry, you want to pull your tape away from the wall, and you may see a little bit of wood coming through there. You can either use the paint scraper or this little thing, and you just want to peel that paint back away from the wall here. And as you can see, it looks a little bit scary down there because I can see some wood, and I'm just going to smooth that over with my trowel. But I'm pulling the tape back this way in this direction towards you, and using the trowel to come back away from it. So as you can see there, now, look at that, fluff that carpet up, and you can't even see. Ugly carpet as it is, one day we'll replace the carpet as well. That's another whole Hometalk DIY. Oh. I won't be doing that myself. But if you can see there, see how lovely the trim looks, and that little tip of tucking, remember at the very beginning, if you missed the start, I was showing you how to lean your tape up against the wood, pull the carpet like this and poke it down into the edge between the carpet and the trim so that you can get a nice edge on your thing. And that way you don't have to rip up carpet, you don't have to remove the trim and paint it. You've got a great little clean finish there. So I really hope those tips were helpful. And Julie, I'm thinking that they're going to be, Hometalk is going to be announcing a winner very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for a winner for our tote bag. So just going over those things. With your trim, great prep. Prep's really important. If you missed the first bit of the live, go back and re-watch it. If you want to share it with your friends. You can even do that right now, is just click the share button and then you'll jump back on to see who the winner is. And don't forget to watch 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for another Hometalk Live DIY. I'm Sharon from I Restore Stuff, and I blog over at irestorestuff.com from Australia. And Julie, do we have a winner?
We have a winner.
Woo!
We have Denise Fiorito, who wants to update her kitchen cabinets.
Wow. Thanks, Denise. You have won our Hometalk tote bag. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And I hope you learned some DIY tips today. Go and update your trims with confidence. You can do it. See you later.